Good afternoon and welcome to the first local Veterans Forum. We have been doing this program in other parts of the state, and we're now here in Manchester. I am the guy that's been doing it. The program is entitled the Veterans Forum. It's a program that we're doing through the community television stations in cooperation with the Library of Congress, wherein we've invited any and all guys and gals who served in any war, in any branch, if they can and will, come and share their experiences with us. The recordings will be made, and the master, if you will, be sent down to the Library of Congress and incorporated in their database. The idea being that they're trying to capture all of us who did anything during any war to be part of our national history. If and when you feel that you've seen a bit of the show here and would like to come, please, at the end of the program, we'll have a little place where you can write or phone, get a hold of me, we'll make some contacts, line it up, and then get the show on the road. The best part about it, and the only thing that I can say, if you will, that will help sell the idea, it's your story. If you don't tell it, nobody else will, and every piece of that puzzle we want to fill, if you will. Now today we have a young gal who was a Marine. I call her Polly. I'll ask her to introduce herself, and then we'll take the show from there. If you will, Polly, you're on. Would you tell us your name? Spell your last name, please.
My name is Mary Elizabeth Edgerton Paquette, P-A-Q-U-E-T-T-E.
And now, where do you currently live?
I currently live at Hillcrest.
Okay, that's a retirement community?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what branch were you in? I've included, but your
I
dates
was
of
in the
service,
Marine
if you will.
I was in the Marine Corps. And my dates of service were, let's see, December 6th, 1942 until January 26th, 1944.
Okay. Now, to set a little history so we know, well, here you are now, but let's go back. Where and when were you born, and how was life growing up back in the days when we were youngsters?
I was born in Meriden, Connecticut, and lived in Yalesville as a little girl. And then we moved around Connecticut several places. And then my father was a milkman, and he had a horse and a buggy.
Oh, the old days.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Used to go from house to house. The horse would just sit there. And I'm trying, what else did you ask me?
Well, how was it when you're growing up? What kind of a family? Do you have any brothers and sisters?
Oh,
and so forth?
yes, yes.
Just kibitz a little bit.
Yeah, I have 2 sisters and a brother, and they're all still living.
Good.
And I'm 89 now, and just turned 89 actually.
Oh, brand new old timer.
Yeah, brand new old timer, right? And and I'm enjoying where I'm living right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, how was it when you were growing up, as far as school goes? Did you have to walk 1,000 miles to school, or how was it?
See, I don't remember when I was, until we moved to West Springfield, Massachusetts, and then it was about a half mile, I'd say, to school. We used to have to walk to school and walk back for lunch and back to school. Didn't think anything of it, you know, and we used our bicycles to get around any further than that.
Well, how was school? Did you graduate from high school, college, and what have you?
Graduated from high school, yes, and then went to work. Went into nurses training at Springfield Hospital for 6 months, and then went to. From there, I went to worked at Pratt & Whitney.
Mm-hmm. Why did you quit the nursing school? Not your bag?
No. Well, they didn't think it was.
Oh, what do they know?
Well, I had always wanted to be a nurse, but it didn't work out. So I did fine academically, but I just wasn't good with a needle.
Oh, well, I'm glad because I've been stuck so many times. I feel like I'm making out with a porcupine.
Pincushion.
Yeah. Well, when you started with Pratt and Whitney, what did you do? What kind of work did
I
you
was
do?
in allocation, and that was on the 3rd shift. And my father used to drive to East Hartford every night for the 3rd shift. And then they opened a place much closer to West Springfield, which was in East Long Meadow, and I went there, and I was an inspector, and I inspected different parts of the engine, you know, like cylinders and spiders.
Cams, pistons, and all the whole bit.
We call spiders, and a spider plate and the cylinders. And the spider plate, well, I found one of those when I was at Cherry Point that I had
we'll
signed.
get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, did you have any specialty, if you will, with the inspector, or were you just a general inspection person along a long line of
Oh,
stuff
no,
coming
no. It was, well,
Because people say inspector, and that says nothing. What's your father do? Oh, he works. That doesn't give you much of a clue.
no, that's true. No, we weren't in a long line. We were in a big building, of course, but that was a short line because they had all different things, like people were doing different jobs all around me. It wasn't just inspection in a big long row, no.
Now, you work with, say, you would get in an engine, and you would that be yours to monitor?
No. We only got pieces. We only got the pieces that we worked on. And then you had to initial them and date them so that they, you know, if it was wrong, if it proved to be ineffective, then you'd hear about it.
Oh, yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick, particularly if you were in the plane that went down because of that.
Right.
It has a way of coming back to bite you.
Right.
Now, how long did you do that?
I did about 10 months in both places, in East Hartford and in East Long Meadow. I was 10 months in each place.
And that was just prior to going in the service?
Yes.
Talk about that. Where and when did you enlist, and why?
Well, I wanted to, I thought I could get an education if I went into the service. You know, they would train me in different things rather than what I had been doing. So I went to I had a friend in when I was working in East Long Meadow, and she and I talked her into enlisting with me, and we had to go to Boston to enlist, and this was right after Pearl Harbor. We went down to Boston, and I think we took the train, and but we got down there and there was no place to enlist.
Oh?
And no place in Springfield. We
first checked. But in Boston, there sure as heck was.
No.
Oh?
No, not for women yet.
Oh. Okay, go ahead. We're learning new things every day.
Yeah. No. And so anyway, we got down there, and we, I guess we signed up at that time, and then we had to come back and have the physical and have, you know, all this.
But you hadn't sworn in as of that time, though, had you? Had you raised your hand? Okay.
I don't think so. That was December 6th, 1942, when we went to Boston. And I didn't leave for Camp Lejeune until February 8th, 1940.
43.
Yeah. And so it was, they just held, until they got a group together in our area, they didn't just send you one at a time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Down there.
A gang.
Yeah, 12 of us were
good.
Were on.
Now, where did you sign up? In the post office building, the federal building, or
down in Boston?
Annex?
Yeah, we must have gone to the post office. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember really where we went down there in Boston. And then we went to as I say, we went on the train to Camp Lejeune.
Okay. Now, how did you get to the train? Did they
Oh,
give you
they
chits
drove.
and so forth? Or?
No. It was in Springfield.
Oh, okay.
Springfield, Mass. This group came from all that area around
Central
Springfield.
Mass.
Yeah, no, Western Mass, sort
Okay.
of. Yeah. And so the 12 of us got together, and we must have had a leader, as it were.
I was going to ask that. There must be somebody
There must have
pulling the
been
reins.
there must have been somebody there, but I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
as long as it wasn't you, you could care
Yeah.
less.
The 12 of us went off and got
Did you
to
go commercial or troop train? You know,
No,
Pullman?
just a regular
Okay.
train.
How
yeah.
was the trip?
Yeah. It was, you know, we just, we didn't know what we were getting into. We didn't know. We had no uniforms, no nothing, you know. We didn't know. And we got down to boot camp, and boot camp was 6 weeks.
That was the Lejeune.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were about, oh gosh, it must have been 60 girls, and they were from all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
That were in.
You form up to a platoon or
Yes.
company?
Yeah. And
You asked that question, I'm butting in. What was your reaction the first couple of days when you left as a civilian and we were now?
Oh, I didn't mind it. It was, you know, they just gave directions. You did what they told you to do.
You learned well.
Yes, and you did it as best you could. And so it was interesting. But so I got to boot camp, had 6 weeks there, and then 2 weeks in the kitchen.
Everybody goes mess cook.
Everybody goes to mess hall, yeah, for 2 weeks. And after that, they assign you to a place. And, of course, I was friendly with my friend that I enlisted with, and she went to Quantico, and I went to Washington. And another friend that we both met, she was a Filipino girl, and she went to Paris Island.
Oh, they spread you all over.
Yeah, they did. They spread us all around. And so it was you know, I landed in Washington, didn't know anybody, and they put me on kitchen duty again in Washington. So that's what you did. You went from one to the next, and then they put me in the office. This was in Arlington. It was a Navy what is it called? Naval something or other. And I worked over there in paperwork, and that I wrote home to my mother, and I said to her, I wasn't allowed to tell her where I was going. I mean, where I'd gone from boot camp. So I told her I was going to where I didn't want to go.
And I got there first
That
class.
was the one place I didn't want to be, was in Washington doing paperwork.
Okay.
And so anyway, I was there a while, and then I had hoped to get into a school, either the photography school or you know, or mechanics or whatever. And so they said, the lieutenant said, well, I don't know if I can do this or not, you know, and then she checked my records, and my mechanical ability was as good as my
Office keeper?
yeah, office business. So she said, well, I can send you to mech school out in Norman, Oklahoma. And I said, that'll be fine. I said, just as long as I get some schooling out of this deal. And so.
I'd like to go back a bit because you glossed right over the first 6 weeks of your introduction. Classic question, I guess, is what were your DIs like? Now, we assume you had the same manual arms and training and marching that all the other lieutenants did.
Yeah,
How did they treat you?
The DIs were fine. They didn't, you know, they
went
yelled
the Hollywood
to
type,
march
you
you
know,
down,
bah.
up and down, and
Yeah.
they do this stuff, but they weren't like the DIs are with the fellas, because they were real rough with them.
I know.
And, you know, they weren't that way with the girls.
Okay, good. That's
And
good.
we didn't learn to use a gun. We didn't learn to do, we got history of the Marine
The
Corps.
Corps, and,
Yeah, and what else did we do? It was mostly and how to behave and how to how to salute and when we should salute and all that.
And who?
And who?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is anybody with us.
One stripe. Yes, sir. Things
Right.
haven't changed.
No.
What
So,
you do in Norman?
in Norman, Oklahoma, I went to mech school for 6 months.
Mech school or mechanic?
Mechanic school.
Oh, okay.
Which is a Navy base. I mean, no. Yeah, a Navy base out in Norman. And there were about 30 girls in the group that I was with. And apparently I've learned since I got out of the Marines that there were about 1,000 girls that went through mechanic school, 30 at a crack. So there were quite a few. And I must have been one of the later ones. But anyway, I got through that. And then I was sent to Cherry Point, North Carolina, to engine overhaul.
Okay, that was your MOS then? Aircraft mechanic overhaul or whatever?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And that was just disassembling airplane engines, 2800s, Pratt Whitney 2800s, and so forth. So it was, I was there for, I don't remember. But after that, I guess the war was over. I must have been in there 6 months or so.
And we were talking before about this checking and initialing. Tell us about that a little bit, where you did your own assembly.
Oh yeah, you took it was mostly on a silver, like on the spider plate with a silver coating, and you initialed it with your name, and I think I had to put the date down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then that was it. It would go through because and if I found cracks or anything, they would throw it out or repair it or whatever.
But I was trying to lead up to the point where you said during one of your inspections, you picked up something that looked awfully familiar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That you
Well,
had done
I did
inspecting
that
before.
But that was at engine overhaul
Oh, okay.
when I was in Cherry Point. I happened to see my name with my initials and so forth were right there on that thing. That kind of tickled me.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a darn good part then, because you did it. Yeah. Don't bother me with the details.
No. So it was good. But after the war was over, with Japan in August, and then they put me into BOQ. I was doing books, so I was right back
Right
doing.
where you started,
Yep.
at the bottom of the pile. Now, throughout all this traveling and doing things, did you ever get promotion? And there was some.
No,
up
I
to
was
private
PFC. I was PFC from day one until I left.
Yeah.
I took the test for corporal, but there weren't any openings. There were not very many openings in the Marine Corps for corporals.
I know. You
at
put a
that
long
time.
time in grade 2 to get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you finally, if you will, retired, where and when were you?
I was at Cherry Point
Okay.
when I finished up, and I was discharged from Cherry Point. That's about it.
Okay. Now, you've been traveling, and we've got all kinds of photographs here. When you had leave and so forth, boot leave or weekend pass, where and how did you spend some of your time, if you dare, or tell us?
Didn't have much money. You couldn't do a heck of a lot. I'll tell you that. And I did go to Raleigh. I got a flight with a guy that had to fly, so many hours to keep his
Convenience.
license. Yeah. Or not his license, but his whatever he had to keep. And so we went. but we didn't. We'd go into town, into Newbern, and into the Queen Anne Hotel. First glass of champagne I ever had was in there.
Launched a new career, huh?
Yeah.
Now, do you ever keep in touch with some of the gals you were with back then? Over the years, I know you spread around, but there's a few you
I
seem to
did.
touch.
I kept in touch with the girl I was with in Washington up until the time she died, which was about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I also kept in touch with another girl that Amy Collins, I was very close to at Cherry Point. She was a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
No, was she a mechanic? Yeah, I guess she was.
Okay. Now, when you were discharged and got that $200 or so travel allowance, how did you get home?
Oh, I got the train home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anything special about it? How were you received when you got home?
Well, there was nothing. I mean, I just went home.
Oh yeah. Oh, you've been out of town for a while. You get that kind of a greeting,
right.
you know. Where were you and what
They
happened?
were glad to see me, but I'm glad it was over and glad the war was over.
Oh yeah.
Because no more rationing, no more,
Civilian suffering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you did get home, did you take advantage of the GI Bill in any way?
Yes, I did. I went to school in Boston, to Technical School for Plastics on Huntington Avenue for a year. And that's the work I did after I graduated there. I got a job in Springfield.
Good.
Back home.
Now, did you join any organization like BFW or Legion
No,
or so
I never
forth?
did. No.
Okay. Now, from what I know, somewhere along the line, you ultimately went and got yourself a man. Where and when were you married, and how was your family life after that, if you mind sharing that with us?
No, I met my husband when I was at Technical School for Plastics after the war. And
He was a pilot, I believe you said.
yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was a
Commercial or a military?
No. He was a bomber pilot. What, 612 or I don't know. I never could keep it straight what he flew. And anyway, he didn't fly as much as he was an instructor. He instructed other pilots.
Oh, good. Good.
So
Must have been a hot shot.
yeah, he was very, very bright man, and what he did was he trained French pilots.
Oh, kind of Lend-Lease deal?
And of course, he could speak French,
Oh.
and he was fluent with French, and so he got along with them real well. But they scared him to death. He said they were wild men up in the air.
Crash landing every time, huh? Stick up, nose down, and go. Now, did you have a family? And how are they doing these days?
Oh, yes, I had 4
Okay.
children, and one of them is in Hanover. He's an accountant. I should say that. He's more than that. He was a CEO, but with this economy,
But he's still employed.
he's still in Hanover.
Ding how.
Hanover. And his wife works in Dartmouth, Hitchcock. And my other son is a Finnish carpenter. Not Finnish.
Not Finnish the Landau, but
No.
fine work.
Yes.
Okay. Words can get you in trouble.
I know, because his in-laws sent me a card once with a Finnish carpenter on it, and I thought, oh my Lord, that
I thought he was
sounds
mine
terrible.
all along. How about your gals?
But my girls, well, Denise is still an water aerobics instructor at the executive club here in Manchester.
Ooh.
But she's going through a bad spell with cancer.
Yeah.
She has breast cancer. So, and it's come back on her.
You have a remission.
But my other daughter has done very well. She married a Dartmouth graduate, and they have a beautiful home in New Jersey. And she's the one that got me into Hillcrest, really. She pushed me to go to Hillcrest.
Isn't it strange how the kids take over all of a sudden? You're sitting there having a cup of coffee and then you're shipped someplace.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't want to go. You know, it's like,
Oh, yeah, that happens to a lot of people.
well, I think the best part about it, though, they're objective and they want to, quote, do the best they can for Mom
That's
or Dad.
right. That's
And
right, exactly.
It's a hell of a change, though, going from a 9 or 10 room house to a 1.5 square
Oh,
foot
yes,
place.
yes, yeah. But I was thinking that, I don't know if you're going to ask me or not about what the Marine Corps did for me.
That's what I was going to ask next. You're right on script.
Okay. And I took the advantage of their VA program, the, what do you call it?
GI Bill?
GI Bill. I took advantage of that, and then of course, I'm in the system with the VA, and they've done a lot for me.
Good, good.
They've done a lot with my eyes and my ears, and they've been very good.
Good. Now, that's, if you will, kind of a wrap-up, if that's the way to put it, so that we can get into the right time frame. Was your experience positive or negative? How did it impact
Oh
on
no,
your
I'd
life?
say it was positive. The whole. It
Any
was a good
particular thing?
experience.
Okay.
I think all kids should have to go into the service for, like in Switzerland,
Yeah.
for a year or so. I think they learn discipline, and they learn to maybe behave a little bit better.
Blame the parents, not the kids.
Well,
I know. One feeds the other.
yeah, I know. That's for sure.
Okay. Do you have any advice to give them, if you will? That as far as would you or would you not suggest they looked into the service for schooling? There's all kinds of schooling now,
Oh yeah.
particularly where there's such a fluctuation in job
There's
activity.
a lot of offers for schooling and so forth, and that I think is great. How we doing on time?
You got lots of time. We got 3 minutes to go, according to the watch. No, seriously. We have, what,
How
2
can-
million? I'd like to, if you would show some of the photographs so it gives some idea what used to be.
Yeah, well, let me see.
I was trying to bring it to 3, but I can't do it. Oh. You got them?
Yeah. Now, this is a picture. Can they see it?
Oh, well,
Or will they have to hold it up?
I'll
or
try
something?
holding it up. Brenda, Joe,
That's
can we pick that up at all?
Yeah.
Whoop, I'm going the wrong, there you go. That's you and the girls?
Yeah, that was a group that left from Springfield
Okay, way back when?
way
Good
back
looking.
when. My goodness, long time ago.
Now,
And
it's kind of hard to hold that sucker.
yeah, I know. And this is just as bad.
Oh, this is volume 2.
Yeah. This is. Heck. Oh dear, I'm holding you up here. Oh, I had this in here.
And that's what I like to see.
Yeah. That's a picture of me taken out in Oklahoma.
Oh, here's the Lady Marine.
Summertime.
I can't.
I was in
It's very
mechanic
awkward.
school.
Not a bad-looking gal.
Thank you.
Have you seen her before?
I think so.
Okay.
Long time ago.
Yeah, hey, but you're here to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That's about.
I think that what's the
That's
word they
about
use? It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
If you
Okay.
don't mind, if you got more you'd like to show,
No,
try
no,
it.
that's fine.
Okay? Again, as long as it's you and me, let me say thank you for your service, and it's been fun talking with you.
You're welcome.
Hopefully this will be the beginning of something great for all of us, okay? Well, that's a wrap, folks. It's the first time we've been in this studio, so we're learning what and how to do things. But if you will, as I said at the beginning, You are a veteran, male or female, particularly the waves, the wax, and the nurses. We owe you a debt of gratitude that unless you help us, it will never be paid. So if you can, Bob Stevens is the name. You'll see me around town, and hopefully you'll come and see us. Thank you, and goodbye.